Hey, Seth Miranda here in Tokyo, Japan for the release of the Fujifilm GFX100. So this is a monster release for Fujifilm. As you can tell, they brought us here to Tokyo to check it out in hand. We're talking about a 100 megapixel medium format sensor that is stabilized for up to 5.5 stops. Not to mention, it feels like a flagship DSLR. We're shooting 5 frames per second speed-wise with this thing. Not to mention 16-bit color on the RAW. Of course, it's got dual SD card slots as well as dual GFX batteries. Now it can run off of one battery at a time, but with both batteries installed, you're looking at about 800 shots, a little over 300 plus shots with just one battery at a time. Also, modular viewfinder system. So who knows what's going to come out for this thing going forward as far as accessories, maybe waist level, we're not really sure. But at the moment, this feels super light in my hand for what it is. It's not a cumbersome medium format system, and it also has the grip built in for vertical or normal shooting. Flip screen makes it really easy. And it really feels very versatile in my hand. It doesn't feel like a tank of a camera. So this is gonna be a great use in the studio. Of course, Fujifilm now tethers to Capture One. So it's almost like this system is really flourishing. And at a price point of just under $10,000, it's really hitting a mark in a market that's used to about $20,000 to $40,000 systems. Okay, so we're about to go head over to Fujikina, which is a small micro-sized trade show. They only have 20 some odd of these GFX100 bodies in the world. So we're gonna get our hands on them, go into some shooting scenarios, meet some people from Fuji, and just have a good time. So come on, check it out. Hey, so I'm here at Fujikina 2019. We just got out of the press conference for the new GFX 100 megapixel medium, well, you're not calling medium format, Justin, right? Senior Manager of Product Development for Fuji?
Yes.
Film?
Yeah. Well, we're basically calling it large format, right?
Yeah.
We got the X series cameras that are smaller format.
Right.
You know, and so this is really a large format camera. There is no film. I mean, what's film anymore, right? It still exists. We had sizes of film. But in the grand scheme of things, what is that anymore in digital speak?
Right.
We can make a sensor theoretically any size we want to. So what is happening anymore with this? And with the resolution that we're capable of getting, you know, people were saying that the 50 megapixel GFXs were similar to 4x5 film scans in resolution, right? Because the optics, the quality of the film, the grain of the film, we were getting basically the same kind of files you get out of a drum scanned 4x5 sheet. So we've sort of changed our naming convention a little bit.
Well, you also you had the glass ready for like 8K resolution, so you already had the GFX system kind of groomed for this 102 megapixel sensor. Yeah. Let's just make sure that's clear. But while I'm saying that, because they actually showed us a 2 megapixel part of a 102 megapixel image, and it looked amazing.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I mean, these lenses were designed originally. We said when we announced the first cameras that they were designed for over 100. Right? And everyone immediately knew that there must be something else in the works, right? So, and I will tell you, we're not pushing the envelope on the glass yet.
Okay.
So we know these lenses are future-proofed. We know what's out there. We have a roadmap on sensors. We know where the potential is. So we're looking for the future in this. And as Toshi said in this presentation, talking about preserving things, right? So preserving legacies, preserving stories, documenting things, and wanting this camera to have a lifespan, not being oh, well, it's here today, and in 2 years we're gonna, usurp it with something else.
Fujifilm has always had this amazing, they're playing their own game, they're in their own philosophy. You guys had APS-C sensors forever, and then at Kina, you actually said, why do they call it full frame? That seems like the end, like full is the end. Yeah. We're gonna do super full frame, and that's where we started talking about the GFX. Yeah. Now this is a larger frame sensor, but it feels like a flagship DSLR as opposed to a large system that is unbearable.
Right. Basically, yeah, it's reinventing the game, right? I mean, you were joking about my shirt and us being pirates in this, and I picked this shirt for a reason, because we are pirates, right? We're doing our own thing. We're doing it a little bit differently than everybody else. And part of that is our process, right? We've got the X series cameras, small, lightweight, fast. Now we bring out the GFX100, and we're introducing a lot of the tech from X series into this larger format realm.
Super fast camera with a larger sensor. I mean, you really are future-proofing right now and changing the philosophy of the game a bit.
And being able to do things with a larger sensor that you would have never dreamed of doing
before,
right?
That's the thing.
That's the kicker. And this is a ground-up system,
right?
Every other larger format camera is not ground up for digital.
Yeah, I mean,
it's based on an earlier system, right? It's based on a film-based system. We're dealing with an all-digital system. And so, yeah, we got things in here with the IBIS, with the phase detection AF, having autofocus points covering the entire sensor. anyone that's used to shooting a medium format camera is used to focus, recompose, focus, recompose. And having that ability to
You just yelled at me about that.
Yeah.
You just yelled at me about that. You just, literally just did. And not for nothing, you watched me shoot at a quarter of a second with 200 millimeter, and there was no shake in that shot.
Exactly. It's tack sharp, right? How would you do that?
Right.
When the mirror swings up on a camera, the shake of the camera is just unbearable, right? It's shock. So the shutter in this camera is designed with shock absorbers in it. We designed this thing to give us the best image quality possible under every situation. If you guys look downstairs, Michael Clark, those pictures he's shot of the mountain climbers, not the one down there, but he was shooting from a rope.
Right.
You're not shooting a tripod on a rope.
Right.
So being able to take a large sensor camera places that they were never gone before. Well, the Everest guy.
Yeah, taking on Mount Everest. It survived the climb of Mount Everest. But what I'm really impressed with out of everything, I know everything else is impressive, but to have a 100 megapixel 102 megapixel sensor go at 5 frames per second is unheard of. And you guys did it. It really does feel like I'm shooting a flagship DSLR as opposed to medium format. So congratulations, huge release. You guys are changing a lot, and I can't believe it. I'll be honest with you.
Well, good. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to just reinvent photography. We love photography. So how can we let photographers produce tools that allow photographers to do really cool, amazing stuff?
You definitely make cameras for the photographer. It's pretty amazing if you look at the line. So congratulations. We're super excited. Thank you so much, Justin.
Thank you.
So that'll do it for us here at Fujikina 2019, where we got to see the release of the GFX 100 megapixel medium format, larger sensor, whatever they're calling it. You let me know down below what you want to call it. I got my hands on it for a few minutes, and it was pretty great to handle. 200 millimeter lens with a slow shutter, about a quarter of a second, still getting tack sharp images with that IBIS on a 100 megapixel sensor. Super impressive. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this one. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. I'll try to answer anything you have questions about as far as my experience with it. Hit the like, share this video around, and I'll see you guys next time. So that's going in the end of the credits. That's going.
新商品発表会があるらしいです。で、おそらくでかい吸盤のアイスが登場する。